Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Miscellanea Macabre, aka a collection of everything and anything. Obviously, like always, we're talking about physical media that I've collected over the past month, which is, usually DVDs, Blu-rays, and maybe a 4K or two in there. I don't know. But, of course, like always, every month I take my trips to the Dollar Tree. This month I didn't really get that many trips, but that doesn't mean I didn't find anything useful and worthwhile. So, without further ado, join me as we look at all the stuff I got from the Dollar Tree this month that you could totally find there too. Remember, everything is now $1.25, but still not that bad when you consider some of the things I had found. So, let's get started. Oh, but first, just a quick little update on two of the movies I covered last month, which is Chinese-speaking vampires and Satellite Girl and Milk Cow. If you remember, both of them had loose discs and they were shaking around. Obviously, they're not anymore, but the problem is that now they are kind of ruined, which I don't know if you can tell. You see how it looks really weird and spotty there, and there are a couple really big scratches that I just can't get out because of the being loose in the case and who knows what. But also, I didn't know this one came with a cool little sticker. Nice. And then also, same thing happened to Chinese-speaking vampires, although not so much of the weird disc discoloration, but something that did happen is the moment I opened it, it smelled really bad, and gladly, no, yep, that smell's still there. Never mind. I was going to say gladly and went away, but I put my nose real close, and yeah, the smell was there. So, also I can see why this one broke off. You can see the little divider thing, not divider, what do they call this? It's like a little clasp in the middle is pretty broke, and as you can kind of see, there's some really bad scratches on there. Not good. Anyway, moving on. Next up, now finally going through the new stuff, this month I had found Boxcar Bertha, because last month I had found something else directed by Martin Scorsese, New York, New York, I believe it was called, with Robert De Niro and Liza Minnelli. But yeah, this was also directed by, I believe it was directed by him. Yeah, directed by Martin Scorsese, screenplay by Joyce H. Carrington and John William Corrington. Yeah, this is actually one of the earlier ones in his career, it seems, 1972, and I've never heard of this. So, again, another one of those Martin Scorsese movies that I just didn't know existed, and I figured why not. Next up was sadly the only copy I ever found, and you can kind of see it got a little messed up, but I'm still excited to watch it. Shadow Dancer. You can see the really big ding that it got right there. Starring Andrea Riseborough, Clive Owen, and Gillian Anderson. Andrea Riseborough will be relevant in a moment, or later on. Anyway, I don't know what this is. Seems to be some kind of thriller, action movie sort of thing. Let's see. Reading it really quickly. Oh, it seems to be like a really crazy thriller that involves a secret plan and a crazy ultimatum. But yeah, always been a fan of Clive Owen. I like him a lot, and obviously the big one, Children of Men. But I like him in pretty much anything I've ever seen him in. And Gillian Anderson, can't go wrong with Scully. Next up was a horror movie, and I did try to find part one, but had no luck. The House is October Built 2, from the producers of Insidious and Paranormal Activity. I wonder who that could be. But yeah, I found this one. This is another one of those ones that I found with the slipcover that was kind of the only one with the slipcover. But yeah, I like the kind of killer clowns looking masks there and that weird freaky looking guy. Ooh. But yeah, cool. I'm probably going to want to watch the first one though before I watch this one. But yeah, if you can find it with the slipcover, it's actually really cool. It's got this texture which you can kind of see in the light there. I don't know if that's intentional. I hope it is because it feels weird, but I like it. Yeah. Next is a series of 5 films put together on DVD from Mary Higgins Clark. I know she's a very famous author of suspense thrillers and stuff like that. So yeah, 5 films put together. Where the Children, The Cradle Will Fall, Lucky Day, Loves Music, Loves to Dance, and All Around the Town. Based on what it looks like, 2 of these are actually really big budgeted. As you can kind of see over here, it's got Columbia Pictures, but then the rest are these really I'm assuming TV movie producers and studios, but still can't beat that. It does come from Mill Creek, but Again, another one that I only found one of, and I like the slipcover. And it also kind of does remind me of her book covers, even though I've never read any of her books. I do see them all the time, especially at thrift stores. But yeah, this looks cool. Can't wait to see what all 5 of these are about. If this interests you, try to find it. Because, like I said, this is one of the only ones I saw ever. Next up is another one I found only 1, maybe 2 of, honestly. But yeah, Synchronicity with this very cool slipcover, starring Chad McKnight, Breanne Davis, and Michael Ironside. To save his future, he must alter his past. I love sci-fi movies. This one looks really cool, even though I have no idea what it's about. I kind of like this sort of toxic hazmat suit. Reminds me of the first season of Stranger Things. Also, if you heard that horn, the car horn, hilarious. Anyway, but yeah, I love sci-fi films, especially ones that like tackle more weird humanity stuff and kind of mind-bending-y like stuff, which it says at the top, so I'm stealing the terms from it, but you know what I mean. Weird stuff that deals with like psychology and whatever. I like it. So yeah, can't wait to see what this is about. This is another one of the ones I only saw 1 of, but I'm sure more people probably saw it than I did, and everyone just picked it up because Joaquin Phoenix. I'm Still Here, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Casey Affleck, I believe, starring him. Although I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he's directing it. I remember. Let's see. Directed by him, actually. Written and produced by him, too. I remember when this movie came out that people were like, this is what Joaquin Phoenix is doing, because the whole point of it is supposed to be that he's playing sort of like a satirical version of himself where he stops acting and becomes a rapper, but he's not that great at it. Still haven't seen it, but now I have the chance to because I have it on DVD. And again, one of the ones I only saw once at the actual Dollar Tree, so can't wait to watch it. Next up is one that I had every intention in the world to watch, but I'll show you why I can't. Burn, starring Suki Waterhouse, Josh Hutcherson, and Tilda Cobham-Hervey. Some people just want to what? Some people just want the world to burn. Why don't you just... Okay, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. This one kind of looked interesting, but as we can see from opening it up here for a second, I can't watch it because if you can see the middle of the disc there, I don't know what that is. And to be honest, I don't trust putting that in any kind of player of mine, even like a crappier DVD player that I like still have from way back when, because I don't know what that will do. It might just shatter into a trillion pieces, fly all over the player, and it's not fun. And this one looked cool too, so hopefully I can find it on like streaming or something, even though I'd rather not, because I mean I have the copy of it here, but whatever ends up happening, we'll see. But if you've seen this, let me know. Is it good? Is it at least okay? Something, please? Next up is one that looks okay, maybe a little weird. There's not much going on, but Roadside, from the director of Contracted, which is based on the back of this, Eric England. I don't know the name by just seeing it, but maybe I'm familiar with his work. Highly unnerving, taut, and filled with suspense. This is one of those ones that I bought because, it looks like a cool little suspense horror movie thing, but, you know, haven't seen it yet. And, like I said, there's not much to go on. I mean, I could obviously read this, but I feel like just based on, like, the image, it's like there's a guy chasing them and shooting at them, and they can't escape because they're out in the wild, blah, blah, blah. So, if you want to pause to read this, go for it. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Just someone messing around with them. But, yeah, can't wait to check this one out because, you know, it looks like a very nice wintry movie, and it's starting to get warm here in Chicago, so I need to cool off. This next one looks entirely terrible and looks also very exploitative because they're obviously going for a very familiar font and style. Anger of the Dead. Now, I'm pretty sure the filmmaker of this movie and all the people who work on this probably didn't have the intention of it looking like this, or even probably calling it Anger of the Dead, but you can clearly tell that it's supposed to be kind of making people go, well, maybe it's like Walking Dead. And that's actually the reason I bought it. Not because I think it will be like The Walking Dead, because I think the producers and studio of this film think that, or make me want to think it's like The Walking Dead. Hopefully I'll be surprised, because it does look at least somewhat interesting, a little low budget, but I've never been one to kind of stray away from like lower budget or higher budget films, so hopefully it's an actual surprise. You know, it's always nice to take a chance on things that look very like scammy, I guess, but you know, to try it out. And that zombie effect doesn't look that bad on the back, honestly. It didn't look the worst. I've seen worse. So, yeah, we'll see what this is. Next up is a film from probably my favorite director ever, Michael Bay's The Island. Now, obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Bay. I used to be when I was a kid. In recent years, going back to his stuff, I cannot see what I enjoyed out of his movies. But, yeah, this is one of the ones I never saw. Ewan McGregor, Scarlett Johansson. It's a Michael Bay movie. I mean, is there really much to explain with his stuff? I mean, they're really all the same. I know he just came out with another one with Jake Gyllenhaal called Ambulance. I bet it's really similar to this, so we'll see. But yeah, this is one that I found a lot of copies at the Dollar Tree. I wonder why no one wanted to buy it. Next up is The Rental, starring, Dan Stevens again. Dan Stevens, Alison Brie, Sheila Vand, and Jeremy Allen White. Also, is another one of those ones where, like, because they know that some names have a little more familiarity and recognizability, they put it first, even though it's not lining up, because you got oh, that's the only one that matches. But the part of it that actually interested me more was this: a film by Dave Franco, and then this, a lean and brutal psycho for the Airbnb era. Man, that sounds terrible. But I do like these actors, so I'll give it a chance. Plus, look at that. That's kind of freaky. Even though it kind of looks like a Goosebumps mask. But who knows? Maybe Dave Franco will surprise me. This is actually really good. Also, apparently this is a Scream Factory release. If we could focus on that. Yeah, weird. Next up is a TV series called Humans, which actually aired on AMC, but it originally came from the UK, so this is the Uncut UK edition. A lot of the advertising for the show is very confusing because I didn't really understand. I think I was getting it confused with another show starring Carrie Ann Moss, but now I have it on DVD, so I can't get that confused, and it's the Uncut UK edition, whatever that means. All 8 episodes on 3 discs. Yeah, again, this aired on AMC, and it seems to be just about like artificial human beings and creating them and what it's like living in a world full of them. So yeah, very cool. I only ever saw this once as well, so I don't know. Maybe this is out there, maybe not. But yeah, compellingly, smartly acted. USA Today. Yeah, looks cool. Next up's a horror movie I bought, which normally I would say looks kind of but the actual box, the DVD, looks pretty freaky. Shiver, starring Danielle Harris of Halloween fame, John Jarrett, and Casper Van Dien. Robert D. Weinbach production. Don't know who that is. Yeah, the box, well, let's see. She had a good head on her shoulders until she met him. Yeah, the back of this box is super freaky. I like that. It kind of reminds me of beginning of Friday the 13th Part 2 kind of thing, or some other stuff, but yeah, it doesn't look the greatest, but I'm still willing to give it a shot, just based on that image alone. A killer as clever and complex as Hannibal Lecter and as unstoppable as Michael Myers. I only said that because Danielle Harris is in it. Really? Come on. Don't do that. But yeah, looks cool. Also, Hatchet, I believe she's in. I didn't know that. It says that. I haven't seen Hatchet in forever. Jesus. Okay, cool. Next up is a movie starring an action star who's pretty recent, but I like him a lot. Joe Taslim in a movie called Dead Mine. And it's got this funny little logo at the top. Turbo by XL Raytor Media. I have no idea what that is or who they are, but okay. For those of you who might be familiar with him, Joe Taslim was in The Raid now, I think 11 years ago. The movie came out like 2011. But he's also in a really good movie that's on Netflix if you still have your Netflix subscription, called The Night Comes for Us. If you haven't seen that, that's a really good one too. But yeah, I like him a lot. This seems to be kind of a cool treasure hunter, mummy fighter kind of thing. Or not mummy fighter, but like ancient dead coming back to life thing that they fight. Looks cool though. And again, I like Joe Taslim. The legend of Yamashita's gold lures a group of treasure hunters deep into the Indonesian jungle. Yeah, see, that's all you need to know. But yeah, this poster looks hilariously terrible. It almost kind of looks like it's a video game movie adaptation, even though it isn't. But spectacularly impressive, says Armando de la Cruz of Film Police. Film Police? That's terrible. Next up is actually a big budget release, I, Tonya, starring Margot Robbie, Sebastian Stan, and Allison Janney. I never got to see this when it came out because I was told don't watch it, but you can't stop me. I will watch whatever I want to watch, and now I will watch I, Tonya. Yeah, didn't see a Blu-ray of this because otherwise I would have grabbed Blu-ray, but who cares? DVD is still good enough. Especially for $1.25, you can't beat it. Yeah, the story of Tanya Harding, the figure skater who had some very famous controversy. For those of you who don't know, well, maybe watch the movie. Maybe it'll tell you more. Or maybe go read a Wikipedia page. I don't know. One or the other. But yeah, gonna watch this one pretty soon. Next up is another one of those ones that I bought clearly because it's just inspired by a lot of other things. Don't Let Them In. It's Your Next meets The Purge, which to me is kind of a weird comparison because when you think about it, The Purge just kind of is Your Next after a certain point. But sure, you can see that The Purge is, and the Purge and Your Next are like super heavy inspirations. Evil doesn't knock, but it looks like they're knocking and you're looking through a peephole like, oh, who's knocking? Following the brutal murder of a pretty young girl 15 years ago, a reformed David Pierce is finally released from the asylum and returns to his family home, the 12 Bells Inn, a long-abandoned hotel, when two social workers pay a routine visit. Things are clearly not what they seem. Sinister masked intruders spark a savage confrontation, which leads to an all-out assault. Torn between their own safety and a duty to their client, the courageous heroes must outwit and fight relentlessly to survive the night. So it just sounds like Your Next. That doesn't sound like The Purge. Weird. Anyway, again, super heavily inspired by other things, but hopefully it's at least fun. It's only, 82 minutes. Oh, that's nothing. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this is something surprising, right? Right? Talk about another one of those ones that I hope is surprising because, Jesus. They Reach. First you hear them, then you see them, then they reach. A film by Silas Dahl, starring Mary Madeline Rowe, Ian Campbell, and Morgan Chandler. I wonder what movie and TV series they're drawing inspiration from this poster. Yeah, this is the episode of a lot of, just give people the things that they're familiar with and hopefully they'll buy it. And, hey, you got me, but you're not fooling me. Because I don't expect this 89-minute movie to be really that good, but hopefully it is. Curiosity Kills. 13-year-old Jessica Daniels accidentally unleashes a demon from a reel-to-reel player. Oh, God. That's just Evil Dead, which also happens to be a doorway to the dark side. That's just Evil Dead 2. She musters her science fair-winning brain power and recruits her two best friends to battle the beast and send it back to hell before more souls are taken in the small town of Clarkston. It's just Evil Dead and Stranger Things. Hopefully it's fun, because that looks cool at the top. But, man, if you want to see a really good movie that, a lot of people are like, that's inspired by Stranger Things, but it's more inspired by just 80s movies, go watch Summer 84. That's a good movie. This, maybe it is. I don't know. We'll see. Next up is something I bought because I'm a casual fan of. UFC presents The Ultimate Fighter, The Toughest 25 Moments. DVD exclusive, contains 10 bonus tough moments. Yeah, UFC is something I watch pretty casually. Sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I don't. Most times I don't. It's pretty boring. But yeah, I enjoyed The Ultimate Fighter when it originally came on. It was a pretty cool show. I know it's still going, but I haven't watched it in forever because I think it's on ESPN Plus, and I'm not getting that. But yeah, hosted by Forrest Griffin, and I'm assuming Stephen Bonner because he's the other guy on the front. But yeah, The Ultimate Fighter was a show in the early 2000s that was basically trying to find Made in USA. I didn't notice that sticker before. That just tries to find the best UFC fighters, next UFC fighters to compete in the UFC. And yeah, they're coached by two legendary UFC MMA fighters who are really big champions or whatever. But this just seems to be like a compilation DVD of all the fun stuff, so that'll be cool. Instead of watching full seasons of this show that I don't even know if I can really watch all of anymore without getting a subscription to something that I don't even want. Next up is a follow-up. I'm so happy I had found it, and I told you last month about a movie or a DVD that I was trying to find, an anime DVD or at least Japanese inspired, called Pop Culture Bento Box. This is the only other copy I saw of this. Like I said, the other one I thought I had grabbed, but I guess I had put back in the box, but now I finally have it in my hands. I had put a picture of it originally in the last episode, but yeah, as you can see, it comes with some pretty cool stuff. The Little Prince and the Eight-Headed Dragon, Battle in Outer Space, the original Mothra movie, Memories, Astro Boy, Viper's Creed, and Godzilla the series. Don't be fooled though, this is the Godzilla the series based on the 98 movie, which isn't really even that awful of a little cartoon, but not that good. But then again, I guess it's better than the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla cartoon, which is definitely not good. So yeah, but this looks super cool. Like I said last time, I thought I had grabbed it because I like the sort of compilation of anime and other Japanese properties from like different generations. It's not just one or the other, you know. Granted, I don't really know what Godzilla the series has to do with Japanese, because that is the most American thing, and I think the cartoon was like produced in Canada too. So anyway, this is a cool find. Try to find it if you can. It's a super cool little compilation of stuff. Yeah. Next up, we got 2 more horror movies from the creator of Final Destination, Sleep No More. Your dreams will become your nightmare, which sounds like Final Destination a little bit and some other stuff. To find the cure for sleep, they'll need to survive the night. This sounds like another movie I had bought from the Dollar Tree years ago called The Lazarus Effect. That was hilariously bad, but I still kind of enjoyed it because it was a little funny. But yeah, this looks, I don't know, interesting. Hopefully it's not like that. This does seem to have like some more production put into it. Also RLJE Entertainment, or RLJ Entertainment, sometimes they call themselves. It doesn't matter. Yeah, hopefully this is not too much like Lazarus Effect, because based on this little blurb on the back, the little paragraph, it kind of sounds like it is. But yeah, looks cool. Also, another thing too, just based on the back reading it, it kind of reminds me of Flatliners a little bit, like forcing yourself not to sleep thing, as opposed to Flatliners, which is, I think, killing yourself or staying dead for as long as you can. Anyway, this looks cool. Last among the DVDs from the Dollar Tree, we have Animal Among Us, starring Christian Oliver, Larissa Olenek, Aaron Daniels, Christine Donlin, and Don Fry, which is funny because we were just looking at the UFC DVD. Oh, I'm a little too close to the camera. Sorry. There, Don Fry, which is funny because Don Fry is a UFC fighter, MMA fighter from the early days of the UFC. But what's actually really funny is that I know him more from a movie called Godzilla The Final Wars, which is something I grew up with a lot. Stop. Look at these amazing pictures of Don Fry at the premiere for Godzilla Final Wars. I had to stop everything. These pictures are so awesome. Anyway, back to the video. I'm sorry. But this looks weird, very low budget. It kind of reminds me, this is going to be really weird, and I don't know if anyone will even know what I'm talking about. There was this game that came out called Death Cargo that was supposedly lost forever. Then a video came up of the gameplay of it. And this character, this like weird swamp thing looking monster, kind of looks like one of the characters that's in the game, and I'm hoping that's what this is, and if not, this will just be low budget crap that I can't wait to watch, because I like horror movies too much. Yeah. Now on to the Blu-rays from the Dollar Tree. We have Red Rage from our favorite friends over at Echo Bridge Acquisition Corp LLC. Yeah, that's seriously their name. They just call themselves like Echo Bridge Entertainment, you know, like a normal name. A 94-minute thing that does not look that good, but hopefully it is. It seems to be about some kind of crazy, like, super addictive drug that everyone's fighting for called Red Devil. So maybe it'll be good, hopefully. And yet again, just to follow it up, Trick or Treat from Echo Bridge, starring, this is going to be a long amount of names, here we go. And I don't even really know who, like, they match up with on the box here, so just assume. Craig Kelly, Dean Lennox Kelly, Sean Parks, Jamie Sibbs, or Sives, Hugo Spear, Chris Marshall, Jason Fleming, and Francis Barber. Middle age can be murder. Hopefully this isn't trying to be too funny and actually scary, because I like the way that looks, and I like the way that looks, and that's okay, and that's okay, that doesn't look that great. But yeah, former gangster Greg Keelty? Yeah, this just looks terrible. I don't know. Hopefully it's funny, or at least gory. Please. Also, I do know that's Jason Fleming. I do know that. I just don't know who the rest are. Sorry. Next up is one that I tried to remove from its slipcover, and I'm going to tell you, I really did ruin the slipcover. Mary, starring Gary Oldman, from the writer of The Shallows, Evil Lies Just Beneath the Surface, which, you know, The Shallows could have had that tagline too. Anyway, this is the horrible mess up I did. Gladly I didn't mess up the actual Blu-ray. It's still got the, you know, protective plastic around it, but Man, I really messed up that slipcover, so I'm going to be looking for a replacement of it. I don't know what this is. This seems to be just kind of a family drama horror-y movie, or maybe not necessarily horror, more so a thriller about like a family falling apart because the real stuff starts coming to the surface. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, it's at least got something supernatural to it, because it's got like a burning witch or someone burning. I don't know. Maybe someone's telekinetic. That'd be cool. Next up is a movie I bought, watched, regretted buying, and regretted watching, The Gallows. Every School Has Its Spirit. From Blumhouse, the producer of Paranormal Activity and Insidious. Yeah, they really use those two a lot, because they were massively successful, don't you understand? This was a stupid, by-the-book horror movie that might be fun to watch with friends once and never again, but I ended up watching it alone in the dark. And while I did laugh at some things, most of it just kind of sucked. Basically, it's a group of theater kids are in their school and they get locked in during rehearsal at night, and they end up staying in. No, the doors just magically close themselves. How did it happen? And yeah, it's just not fun. Let's see. Oh, there's a gag reel. Look at that. All great horror movies come with gag reels. Next up is some kind of, I guess, documentary called Freakonomics the Movie. 6 rogue... Oh, nice. Going out of focus right when I show the logo? Really? Man, that's weird. 6 rogue filmmakers explore the hidden side of everything. A revelatory trip, says Variety. A crazily entertaining, tantalizing eye-opener. Despite the $2.99 tag, this was $1.25. Or you know what? This might have been... Was it $1.20? No, it was $1.20. Okay, never mind. Based on the best-selling book that sold over 4 million copies. Copies. All eye-opening stuff. I wish I could tell you what this documentary is about, but the $2.99 sticker just pretty much covers all of that. So, yeah. But, maybe it's like revealing secret stuff. It does say it's got the directors of Super Size Me, Jesus Camp, Enron, The Smartest Guys in the Room, Why We Fight, and The King of Kong, which, you know, maybe it means like exposing stuff, even though Super Size Me lied about his stuff. Morgan Spurlock is his name. He lied about a lot of the stuff in his documentary. You can look that up. That's just the truth. But I don't know, maybe this will be entertaining, maybe it won't be, who knows. Oh look, another piece of garbage from Echo Bridge. Deadheading. Evil on a Plane. This just, like, look at this. Like, come on. I buy this for you people. And mostly to torture myself for 91 minutes. But, this looks awful. Look at that guy. Ah. Look at that FBI hat. That FBI hat's hilarious. Come on. That's funny. This looks terrible. Oh look, it's them again. Seriously, there's a lot of them. This one I opened and didn't watch, or if I did, I really don't remember it. Distorted, starring Christina Ricci and John Cusack. See, at least this one looks like it might have a chance. Even though I know Christina Ricci's been in a lot of stuff that, like, doesn't seem to be doing that well. But, I don't know, maybe I'll be surprised, right? Let's see, I actually haven't read what this is about, so let's see. Lauren and Russell Curran decide to move away from the bustle of the city and into the peaceful oasis of The Pinnacle, a coveted luxury condo that boasts ultra-modern design and state-of-the-art features and security systems. When Lauren starts to suspect that the building has a dark side, she seeks help from Vernon, an investigative journalist, who I'm assuming is going to be John Cusack, who has an interest in cyber conspiracy. Together they come to believe that the Pinnacle may be brainwashing the unsuspecting residents. I like the rainbow-colored building over there. Man, I hope this is good. I really do. Next up, we got some kind of like crime thriller looking thing. Dark Was the Night. Marissa Tomei, Timothy Olyphant, Charlie Plummer, and Muriel Ends. There was an unwritten rule in... let's see, can I even read that? In... that no two people can go crazy at the same time. Okay. Man, that just already does not sound good. Because, obviously, yet again, Echo Bridge. Seriously, Echo Bridge has dumped their entire library at the Dollar Tree. But at least, again, this is another one of those ones that looks like it might have a chance. So, yeah. Also, you can pretty much find this one with the slipcover all the time. Yet another one of those ones I bought, watched, regretted buying, regretted watching from the Dollar Tree. Stephanie Meyer and Andrew Nichols, The Host. Now, I don't want to get too into it because this movie sucks, but more importantly, this movie hurts. Andrew Nichols used to be one of my favorite filmmakers ever. The Truman Show and Gattaca were two movies I watched when I was very young, and they were the first movies that really challenged me to make me think about what I was watching, and that really made me care for humans that, you know, were in bad situations, and some might say those situations were like happy situations in a way, even though morally they're wrong. But then you watch this movie and you realize Andrew Niccol has lost all of that nuance, and also Stephanie Meyer is a terrible writer. Obviously, we know that she's like, you know, responsible for Twilight, but it seems Twilight seems to be coming back, and everyone's like, no, Twilight's good, but when you watch it, you realize it's terrible. And The Host is one of those movies that absolutely no one should watch because it is very gross. And what I mean by gross is there is a lot of weird, like, sexual advances and assaulting, basically, in the movie. And if you think I'm lying, I dare you to watch it. I dare you to sit through, how long was this? Let's see, 2 hours and 6 minutes. It's right there. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes. And there's a random hair in it. Cool. I dare you to watch this 2 hour and 6 minute movie to prove me wrong, because I will tell you, it's gross. It's gross. This movie's gross. Stephanie Meyer's gross. And Andrew Niccol, what the hell happened? What the hell? This and In Time were awful. Come on, man. I loved your movies. Lord of War? Like, come on. What happened to you? Next up was something I watched recently and bought, which was the Belko Experiment from the Dollar Tree. Office Space meets Battle Royale. Don't believe that. I would say it's more so just Office Space. Or not Office Space, Battle Royale. Really not that much comedy in it. From what I understand, this was originally written by James Gunn, but the director of this seems to not kind of understand where the humor is supposed to go, because there really isn't that many humorous moments, like stuff to break up the very serious nature of this movie. And I'm not even saying that this is really all that bad. It's just not that great. This reminds me of something you might put on that was like on like HBO or Cinemax or some kind of like cable movie channel, and then you put it on and go, that was weird, but then never watch it again, because it's not awful, but it's not great either. But, you know, if you do like it, go pick it up. It's at the Dollar Tree. I didn't care much for it, but I don't think it's the worst thing ever. If you want to see a better version of this, there was a movie called Mayhem, which I believe came out the same year. I bought that on 4K because that was a really good movie. Starring Steven Yeun, Samara Weaving, directed by Joe Lynch. That was a really good movie. There's basically kind of the same thing. Not exactly the same, but very similar. That one has a lot more humorous moments, while also matching the kind of brutal violence that it needs to, that this has. This kind of just does a lot of moments where characters have really weird 180 turns that just kind of come out of nowhere. And like I said, some of the comedic moments really aren't there. There are clearly characters written that are meant to be more funny, or at least break up the tension, which is why Michael Rooker and David Dastmalchian are in it, but they don't really do all that much, or they don't get a chance to do much, and that sucks. But if you haven't seen it, though, you know, and you're interested, absolutely go watch it. Don't let me change your mind. Even then, I still would say, go watch this if you're interested in it. You might actually end up enjoying it more than I did. But yeah, I won't ruin what it's about, because I feel like you should go in this one cold. Alright, the next two are big budgeted movies that I'm pairing with each other, but we'll get into why afterwards. Fast and Furious 6, which I found this really weird looking Blu-ray and digital copy. This almost looks like something you would have seen at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video if anyone went to those back in the day. But yeah, this just seems to be like a normal release of Fast and Furious 6, but then you see this weird banner that's entirely in Spanish, which is going to lead me into my next one, which I found only one copy of, Tomb Raider, starring Alicia Vikander, I don't know how to say her name. But you can see that it's in Spanish, and if you look at the back, even though you can't really see all of it, you can tell that most of it is in Spanish. Originally, I had found Fast and Furious 6 in Spanish just like this, but I had left it because I was like, I I don't know, maybe it's in Spanish and I won't understand it, I won't be able to watch it. So I just left it for the next person, whoever wanted it. I found this and I said, well, you know what? I saw this one was in Spanish. Also, these were both in the same store afterwards. I saw this and I was like, okay, well, this was in Spanish, or rather, this was in Spanish, but this one is. So I'm going to test this out and I'll report back to you when I can. Maybe I'll put like an update in the comments. I'll put it in and I'll tell you if it's in English or in Spanish. Based on the stuff down here at the bottom, it does seem to be in English. If you can see at the bottom, it does say like, you know, Dolby Atmos and 5.1, that it is in English. But why were there like Spanish releases here? That's weird. This seems to be like something that we'd see in like Mexico or whatever, you know, Region 1 stuff. But how did it get up here? I don't know. Maybe I'll find a normal copy of Tomb Raider. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't even like this, honestly. We'll see. I'll have to watch it. But, yeah. Not a big fan of video game adaptations. Also, these movies are absolute trash. Don't get me wrong. They're fun trash, but they are absolutely roller coaster movies. They're not good. Alright, last of the Dollar Tree Blu-rays is Galveston, starring Ben Foster and Elle Fanning, as well as Lily Reinhart, Robert Aramayo, and Beau Bridges. Beau Bridges is a name I haven't seen in a long time. Based on the novel by the creator of True Detective, which seems cool, a cool little thriller crime thing. Again, we seem to have a lot of those on the show here, but Foster gives a career best performance. I haven't seen anything with Ben Foster in it that I wasn't like, that guy's bad. Even that stupid Rampart movie with Woody Harrelson, which I also bought at the Dollar Tree years ago, but yeah. No, this seems interesting. Elle Fanning doing something a little more heavy as opposed to, you know, her lighter stuff. She seems to be doing a lot more of those nowadays, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Roy is a heavy drinking criminal enforcer and mob hitman whose boss set him up in a double-cross scheme. That's all I need to know. This sounds fun. Cool. Now we move on to all the new pickups. I wanted to start off by getting this one out of the way. This is a pop figure that I did end up buying. I told you I don't buy many. I only buy ones that are based on things that, like, I don't think will ever get any kind of physical merchandise or anything like that. So I bought Mandy from Mandy. Last month, obviously, we saw that I got Mandy in the slipcover. So now I have a pop figure of Mandy, and I am looking for red. But yeah, just wanted to get this one out of the way real quick for those of you interested in it. I think I featured a pop figure in, yeah, just on these past 2 episodes. I didn't feature one in the first one. I could have, though. But yeah, cool. Next up was a find from OfferUp for $5. This is a movie that I do enjoy, but I was looking for a specific version of it, which was this one. And then I also saw someone put up a 4K version that I wanted, Star Wars Rogue One, or Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. This will probably be the last Star Wars movie I ever buy, honestly, unless they release the original cuts of the original trilogy. But yeah, I saw this version originally when it came out, but it was super, like, I was like, I don't want to pay $25 for it, because I wasn't sure about it then. Obviously, it was 2016 when this came out, 2017 when I saw this in, like, Target, and so I didn't know what the Star Wars franchise was going to be like. The Last Jedi hit was about to come out, and everyone was still excited about it. To be honest, I still don't hate that movie. I don't mind it. But this one I ended up regretting not picking up this version of it, because I really like this case, and I really like this cover of it. Disney seems to be moving on to doing very generic looking covers, so it was important for me to get this one. And the biggest burner of all was I bought this and the Blu-ray scratched, so I have to find a replacement of the Blu-ray disc itself. But either way, I'm still happy to have this, especially with the slipcover. And it was only $5, so I'm not even really that mad. I wasn't upset with the person either, because they didn't know it was scratched either. This was actually completely sealed, and when I opened it up, it was scratched. That can happen sometimes, especially with these weirder cases, actually, if I can take it back out. The way that these are released is they just stack discs on top of each other, and I hate that. I hate when they stack them on top of each other. Also, don't worry, digital code is gone. I hate when they stack them on top of each other, because you get that problem where the discs will basically rub against each other, and sometimes they can scratch, and it is not good. But if you can find a cool, like, copy of this Rogue One, or even that super special limited edition one that's like this thick, find it, because these are kind of hard to find. And I think most people should rewatch this one. It's not amazing, but I think it's a little better than I originally remembered it being. Granted, I still think some of these characters are really boring and pointless. Moving on to our first 4K that I've bought. I bought this one off eBay. Beetlejuice, my favorite Tim Burton movie ever, probably. Maybe behind some of the other ones like Nightmare Before Christmas, even though I know it's Henry Selick. But yeah, this was an awesome experience to watch in 4K. They did such a really good transfer of this. Warner Brothers never disappoints when it comes to these. These are just really good, stellar, like knock them out of the park 4K transfers of these movies. I mean, it looked brand new. I did originally see this in Walmart when it came out, but it didn't have any 4K TVs or players, so I was just like, oh, I'm not going to get that. Why? But now I have it, and it's cool. The only thing I wish, honestly, is it had more special features. The special features in this really are not great. And hi, you can kind of see me in the reflection. It's just a theatrical trailer and 3 episodes from the awesome animated show that came out in the 90s, but I feel like there should be better special features for something like Beetlejuice. Get Danny Elfman and Tim Burton or something, do an interview or a commentary. Get Winona Ryder, get Michael Keaton, get somebody, because this deserves like a really cool release. And as much, I mean, I like this. This is a really cool cover, but it needs more. Next up, because I feel like we didn't have enough anime in this episode so far. Probably one of the greatest animated series ever made, even though most people disagree with me nowadays. Cowboy Bebop, the complete series. I find a lot more people going, oh, Cowboy Bebop's overrated, which is like, well, that's okay. We don't have to agree, but it's not. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe it is. I just really enjoy it. Maybe it's overrated because a lot of people recommend it and a lot of people don't agree with it or enjoy it as much as the rest of us, but I still do. But yeah, also, sorry, it's super whoop coming out of the slipcover. Yeah, this was super cheap. I think this was only like $25 maybe, which you can still get for pretty much that cheap. But yeah, Cowboy Bebop, one of my favorite animes of all time. One of the ones I rewatch constantly. Got some of my favorite music and animation, period. If you haven't seen it, give it a chance. You might enjoy it. And if you can find it on Blu-ray for cheap, go for it. If they release this on 4K, sorry if I can speak English properly, I might have to double dip. Although, you know what? I don't know if they ever will. Next up is one that I wanted to talk about last month, but I didn't get a chance to because it didn't get here in time. Nicolas Cage's Color Out of Space. I'm sorry, he didn't make this movie. Richard Kelly made this movie. Color Out of Space, though. H.P. Lovecraft's Color Out of Space. If you've never read the original short story of The Color Out of Space, you should check that out. But this was an awesome adaptation of that short story. This is just a really nice, well-done movie that came completely out of nowhere. I bought this and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this because I like H.P. Lovecraft stuff. Every once in a while, some of his short stories are actually pretty freaky and pretty good. And The Color Out of Space is one of my favorites. And it was one of those ones I was like, I don't really know if you can adapt it and put it into a movie, but this was a really well done thing. The last, I want to say, like 15 minutes of this was some of the most amazing visuals as far as like getting into the mind of cosmic horror. This is such a good movie. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, watch it. I guarantee it does not shy away from the really messed up horror of cosmic horror. This was such a fun find. If I can find this on 4K, I might get it again. Although from what I understand, the 4K release of this doesn't have HDR, which kind of sucks. This did come with a 30-day free trial of Shudder, as if I didn't already have Shudder. But if you don't find a physical copy of this anywhere, which I think you still can find it for pretty cheap, get Shudder. It's on there, and it's a very, very good movie. Especially if you are like a fan of From Beyond or Reanimator. It's very much in the vein of those without being incredibly silly. And Nicolas Cage pulls off a really fun performance that I like. One that isn't super hokey and over the top unless it absolutely needs to be. And when it does, it works. Check this one out. Next up was a Best Buy exclusive steelbook that I actually found on Amazon for Christine on Blu-ray. I do know they released this in 4K, but I got this before I had a 4K player, so I kind of do regret that. But maybe someone will come out with a really cool remaster of this movie, even though this is still a very good transfer of it. Yeah, if you haven't seen Christine, Christine is the movie about a killer car, directed by John Carpenter, based on a story by Stephen King. A very good pairing. Yeah, very good. Harry Dean Stanton's in this for a moment, and he does really well. Keith Gordon, John Stockwell, Alexandra Paul, Robert Prosky, yeah, they're all in this movie. They all do fantastic. Yeah, this is just a really good horror movie, solid 80s horror movie, especially if you're a fan of Carpenter stuff. Yeah, I don't usually pick up steelbooks. I don't care much for them, but every once in a while I'll get one. And I like this one because it's styled after some really good classic 50s style advertisements for cars while showing that really mangled up version of Christine. But yeah, check this one out if you haven't. Next up was a Criterion Collection pickup. Actually, one of my first official. I did have originally the Royal Tenenbaums, but that wasn't originally mine. It was given to me, but this is my first official Criterion Collection buy, and it kind of feels like it's in the tradition that it has to be Eraserhead. David Lynch's Eraserhead. I've been making my way through David Lynch's filmography because I've watched Twin Peaks a bunch and I enjoy that very much, and I've been making my way slowly through his films. I watched Eraserhead and I was like, this movie is awesome. So I had to pick up the Criterion Collection version of it. If I could slide it out, it's kind of difficult, but it comes with a lot of really cool stuff. If you don't already know, this release of Eraserhead, sorry, there's more stuff in there. Gimme. Why is it stuck in there? Alright, we got it. Obviously comes with this really cool slipcover, and there kind of seems to be more going on in there. If you can kind of see it. No, the light won't show it the right way. Anyway, yeah, it comes with this really nice book with an interview and some other images and stuff of David Lynch either making the movie or making other stuff along with Eraserhead. You see it's a picture of Jack Nance, and I believe that's Catherine Coulson right there. It comes in this little, I guess you want to call it slipcover thing, packaging, either way. And then the book is supposed to go in like this. I'm pretty sure you've seen this copy of Eraserhead a million times. If you've never seen Eraserhead, maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. It's freaky, but it's good. Next up are two of my favorite horror movies of all time, the original Halloween and Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Not a big fan of Halloween 2. In fact, I'd argue I kind of hate that movie, which is why I don't have it. But yeah, this is a really cool 4K copy of Halloween that came out, I believe, at the end of last year for like October Halloween or towards the end from Scream Factory. They're very good transfers. There's even a new 4K scan of the original, or a new version of the 4K Halloween done by Dean Cundy, the cinematographer, who's amazing. Comes in this very cool Blu-ray case. It does have a reversible cover, although I don't know what's on it. I'm pretty sure it's just the original, like that Halloween art with the knife and the pumpkin. But yeah, and then obviously for those of you who are fans of it, if you aren't, that's okay. Halloween 3 is a really classic favorite of mine that I enjoy. This is a really nice 4K scan of it, done of the original camera negative, yeah, and also the original Blu-ray that came from Shot Factory, or Scream Factory, Shot Factory, is put along with this. It's super cool. If you're a fan of Halloween 3, awesome. If not, I totally understand. I know why. I've said this before, though, Halloween 3 is one of the most unique movies I've ever seen. I probably will never see it again, and there's a reason for that. And I would love to see more, like, not Halloween 3 specifically, not a sequel of it, but more just weirdo, bizarre Halloween themed movies that are very heavily, like, in this. A big one that reminds me of it that came out later was Trick or Treat. But yeah, cool. And we have one more release from Scream Factory coming up next. This next one might get a little noisy and might get in the way, but a cardboard box had come on my doorstep from a company that I didn't know, because it didn't immediately say Scream Factory on it. But last month, at the end of last month, I had pre-ordered something from Scream Factory, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get it. Now, obviously, we're recording this at the end of the month in May, but this actually came in the beginning of the month. I usually hold off recording these episodes till way later, but as you can see, there's some really nice paper in there. And you're probably wondering, what is this super long box? Well, if I could pull it out. Oh, I managed to hide it well. Let's get this box out of here. Yeah, so cool. They announced that they were releasing a 4K, a new 4K scan of the original Candyman. Last month we talked about the remake Candyman. Obviously, this past Halloween I did a movie series on or a movie series. I did a video series talking about the original Candyman 1, 2, and 3, and didn't get around to the new Candyman. I probably will at some point, but I had to get this awesome 4K release of it. I mean, come on. New 4K master, the original negative, supervised and approved by writer-director Bernard Rose and director of photography Anthony B. Richmond. Obviously, all the original stuff that's on the Blu-ray, which I did buy, but gladly I didn't pay so much for. But you're probably wondering what that big tube was. Well, if you pre-ordered it, it actually came with its original Candyman poster, the theatrical poster. So it's not super big. It looks bigger than it is, but it's not. I already have a frame for this, so I can't wait. But more so, I'm just really happy and excited to finally own a 4K copy of Candyman, because honestly, I didn't know if this was ever really going to come out, but then they announced they were going to do it, and boom, immediate pre-order. Can't wait to figure this out. Hopefully it doesn't have as many problems as the recent Craft 4K had, which I saw was not too great. It lowered its bitrate was really low, but hopefully this doesn't have the same problems. Obviously, I was actually thinking about releasing a video, a review of this, because I had got it, I believe it was May 10th or 11th. I got it in the middle of the month, and I actually was super surprised and caught off guard by it, because it said it was supposed to come out the 27th. And I'm assuming I'll probably end up seeing a lot more, sorry, the poster kind of fell. I'm assuming I'll end up seeing a lot more of people reviewing this and covering it later on, so we'll see. I'll just keep it in there for now, but yeah, you can see it's just got a ton of awesome special features with the original cast and creators and some other people too. I mentioned him earlier. You can see Joe Lynch and also Adam Green in there too. But yeah, this is super fun. But that pretty much covers everything we got in Miscellanea Macabre, so let's take a look. So as you can see, that's pretty much, well, not pretty much, but a good sampling of everything we got in this video. A little bit longer video. Hopefully they, get a little shorter in the coming months. Or in the next month, it probably will. But as you can see, all the really cool stuff I picked up over there. Some of the stuff I picked up from the Dollar Tree. Some of the stuff I picked up from, let's see, this was eBay, this was Amazon, this was Walmart, Amazon, eBay, and then the Shout Factory. Or Scream Factory company, the website. But yeah, and this might have been Amazon or Target. It might have been Target. Anyway, regardless, thank you for watching Miscellanea Macabre. Hopefully you out there are also collecting physical media, whether it be at the Dollar Tree or wherever you get your stuff from. If you picked up some new cool stuff, please leave it in the comments below. I totally want to see you talk about all the cool new stuff you picked up, especially if you picked up Candyman on 4K, because apparently I managed to get it early and I probably should have taken advantage of it, but hey, who cares? We're living in the future. But yeah, tell me what else you got, where you got it from. Maybe you found some pretty cool deals at the thrift store or the Dollar Tree, Walmart or Amazon, eBay, who knows where, but I just want to hear about it. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you want to see me cover more physical media and other cool collectible stuff like this pop figure, I promise we'll probably do some other like cool action figure, like an actual action figure, not pop figures, or maybe some other stuff. We covered comic books in the very first episode. We covered a book in the last episode, but yeah, if you want to see me do more of this stuff, subscribe. I promise you'll be seeing some more, as well as a variety of other random things I do on the channel, whatever I feel like doing, whatever I'm up to. Sometimes it's just talking about random stuff. Who knows? We'll get back to streaming some games soon. I have a plan to do the last episode of The Walking Dead Season 2, the Telltales Walking Dead Season 2, so if you want to see that, tune in and subscribe here. I do live stream here on YouTube, as well as there should be a playlist, let's say right here somewhere, where you can take a look at all the other past streams I've done in the past couple years. A bunch of fun stuff in there, multiplayer games, story-based games, either way. You can also watch the full Until Dawn playthrough, which was super fun and very cheesy at times, but I enjoyed it. We also covered the original Candyman, as well as Candyman 2 and 3, which are, let's see, Farewell to the Flesh and Day of the Dead, which you can watch those as well in a playlist. But until then, I'll see you next time for the next episode, probably at the end of next month. Who knows, maybe a little sooner, we'll see. Later. Remember though, you collect all this stuff, and all of this is for one simple goal: to remind us and to remind you to enjoy yourself.